Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Aunty HR.
During interview ada apa-apa red flag tak yang boleh nampak?
When we ask for referral, you cannot give, that is the number one red flag. If you say you are a fast learner, when I hire you that time, you ini sebenarnya lembab.
Apa soalan yang paling buat anti HR tinggalkan satu perasaan yang mendalam?
Aunty, kita punya annual leave kan, prorate from the day we are confirmed or from the day we start work. Initially, I terkejut tau how uneducated the public is about the employees.
How about boss yang cakap ini satu family lah?
This is something very sad, I feel. It used to be a cool thing, you know. Now it's super cringe.
Pernah tak dalam satu situasi staff-staff dia suka cakap belakang pasal bos?
Berani cakap belakang orang, orang akan tahu punya mak. Everybody is so defensive of their own generation. You don't tell me you don't. You everybody
Saya
does.
tak, saya seorang yang baik.
Ha?
Assalamualaikum.
Dajahau.
Selamat datang ke Melayu Cina Podcast. Okay guys, hari ni kita punya episod adalah merupakan episod yang you guys boleh relate di dalam kehidupan sebabkan rasanya ramai yang menonton ni ada bekerja, ada yang bekerja dari rumah, ada yang bekerja dengan syarikat orang, ada yang bekerja sendiri. Tapi kita punya topik akan spesifik kepada dunia pekerjaan. Betul tak baby?
Ya, betul.
Jadi kita tak nak, bukan kita dua orang je sembang. Kita ada ajak guest yang special di dalam bidang human resource di Malaysia dan ada mempunyai pengalaman lebih daripada 20 tahun.
Ya, betul. So, beliau juga selalu berkongsi pandangan yang benar, jujur dan apa-apalah dia selalu juga jawab soalan-soalan online
Dekat mana tu? Dekat social media lah.
dekat social media.
Oh, okay guys, macam biasa tak nak intro lama-lama. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Aunty HR.
Hello.
How are you?
Jadi cakap Melayu ke cakap Cina sekarang?
Boleh campur-campur.
Ha?
Tapi saya tak pandai cakap Cina lah.
Saya cakap Cina. Lepas tu kahwin Cina.
Ya. I cuba. Kan?
Bagus. Diversity is good.
Ya, betul. Betul. Tapi cuba jugalah masuk kelas Cina kan. Tapi rasa
I pun tak pandai baca Cina.
ya.
Tapi I pandai cakap lah.
Oh.
Baca. I sekolah Melayu lah.
Oh, sekolah kebangsaan lah.
Yes.
Wow.
Sekolah kebangsaan. Sekolah menengah kebangsaan. Sekolah kebangsaan.
Okay, Aunty, sekarang ni you buat apa sekarang?
I sekarang ada company sendiri. I buat training ada, buat kerja-kerja influencer ada, macam tu lah.
Memang
Biasanya I buat training, HRDC claimable training.
Okay, memang training untuk train orang-orang apa semua untuk bekerja dengan sebuah syarikat lah macam tu.
Mostly I buat training kat HR, bidang HR. Like this coming August, I ada Class Employment Act.
Faham, okay. So memang dalam bidang HR ni dah 20 tahun, dah lama lah maksudnya.
Betul?
Yeah. Then,
Tak bosan ke?
tak bosan ke dalam tu?
Dengan dunia.
Tak bosan ke?
Adanya hari-harinya bosan. Tapi ini people business kan, kerja hari-hari berdepan dengan orang. Orang ada banyak ragam.
Yeah.
Bukan I nak jadi bosan tau. Orang yang tak bagi I bosan. Hari-hari je ada masalah dunia lain-lain.
Macam-macam ragam lah.
Maksud nak handle manusia
You macam
Ya.
you macam nak tanya, bosan ke you hidup? You jadi manusia, you bosan tak?
Ada orang cakap akan ada orang cakap kehidupan dia bosan, ada orang cakap kehidupan dia enjoy dia
Tapi-
punya life.
Tapi kehidupan I, kerja I pasal orang. Jadi for me to bosan, I kena be bosan dengan orang lah kan.
Betul juga.
So luckily I extrovert lah kan, tak ada masalah. Sebab I memang suka orang.
Suka bercakap dengan
Suka
orang.
bergaul.
I suka bergaul dengan orang.
Setiap orang ada perangai dia masing-masing kan.
Of course. Betul?
Do you enjoy doing that thing?
So far it's okay lah. Kalau tak I tak buat. I selalu fikirkan kita kerja banyak masa. Betul tak?
Betul?
Betul.
So kena happy lah dalam kerja you. Kalau tak bermakna. I pun tak tahu kadang kan. I rasa like follower kan, dia datang message I, dia kata dia tak happy. Berbaloi ke dia continue kerja? I pertama I akan tanya dulu, ada simpanan ke tak?
Okay.
Kalau you tak kerja, you tak ada income, you can tahan ke tak? sebenarnya you akan lebih happy if which one is worse. You kena pertimbangkan dulu. Bukan you cakap you tak happy, you nak berhenti, you boleh berhenti macam tu. Tapi sekarang I sangat bertuah lah. I happy sambil I buat duit. Okay je.
So maksudnya kalau macam ada seseorang staff ni dia tak happy dengan dia punya pekerjaan tapi dia tak ada saving, dia kena tetap teruskan.
Jadi I rasa siapa bayar bil dulu. Cara you begitu tanya I. You tak ada saving, tapi you nak berhenti kerja. Sewa siapa bayar?
Diri sendiri.
Makanan siapa beli?
Diri sendiri.
Dia diri sendiri lah. Jadi you nak apa? You nak pergi jabatan kebajikan. You rasa you lebih happy dari you pergi buat duit you sendiri. Walaupun you kena tahan sesiapa dalam office tu. I rasa budak-budak sekarang kan memang tidak ada ketahanan lah. Maybe I menopause tau. I'm going through pre-menopause now. So I sangat geram dengan semua benda sekarang.
Tak, memang ini pun topik yang kita nak cakap pasal hari ni kan, pasal Gen Z kan. Ramai bos cakap Gen Z
I understand sentimennya Gen Z. I understand diorang nak cari work-life balance. They feel it's very important to speak up. That one I understand. But ada limit dia. Jangan lebih-lebih. I rasa kan semua generasi sekarang lebih sangat. Everybody is so defensive of their own generation. I also don't understand why. Why It's always the old versus young. Zaman bila bukan tua versus muda. Bila you ada kena satu hidup, you ada tak ada masalah ni, selalu je lah ada masalah ni. Sebab I think in nature semula jadilah orang memang suka complain. Mengadu.
Memang itu human nature. Just tu kalau tak complain, life dia tak happy.
Sebab dia nak meluahkan perasaan kan. And I think it's also bagus untuk meluahkan perasaan. Tapi you kena tengok siapa you punya audience lah.
Jangan melebih-lebih lah.
Jangan lebih. You boleh lebih-lebih depending who you luahkan lah. Like I dengan husband I boleh lebih-lebih. Sebab nak bercerai tu susah juga. It's not so easy kan. But you dengan boss, itu hubungan lain tau. Satu orang atas, you orang bawah. Kalau you lebih-lebih, you are at a disadvantage position. So kena pandai.
Sebab I pun perasan macam yalah, sebab tadi you cakap pasal old punya generation dengan sekarang punya generation kan.
It's always the older versus younger.
Ya. Sebab yang generasi sekarang kemungkinan diorang dah macam tak tahu, maybe makan banyak benda fast food ke, diorang dah macam nak bekerja pun nak senang, nak dapat duit tu senang, nak kerja.
Tapi ada salah ke tak?
Tak tahulah.
Suddenly kan saya terfikir, so what if the boss pun orang yang muda?
No.
I don't think
Kalau I nak kerja senang, I tak nak stress, tapi ada income stable, salah ke tak? I rasa pun tak salah.
Tak salah.
Okay je. I think for how they think is also not wrong. Like work-life balance ni, I belajar dari Gen Z.
Yeah.
I love it, okay? That is something that I learned from them. That is very good. Setting boundaries semua.
Ya, ada satu statement, Gen Z ni bukan manja, cuma mereka lebih tahu nilai sendiri. So anti HR setuju ke tak?
I setuju. Kenapa tak setuju? Because diorang diajar macam tu mah. Gen Z dibawa besar oleh siapa? Daripada Gen X. Gen X, macam mana you besarkan anak-anak you? I Gen X. I punya anak pun Gen Z Alpha borderline kan? So how do we brought him up? We also tell him the same thing. Anything you're not happy, you come and tell mommy. Anything you want, you come and tell me. Lepas tu dia datang minta, kita bagi. Sebab sekarang baru anak ada 1-2 je. Bukan dulu macam like 9-8. You cannot give everything kan?
Betul.
So I think that how the generation is today also kebanyakan dengan the upbringing. Different generation have different kind of upbringing mah. So of course they ada value yang lain-lain lah.
So maksudnya kalau macam yalah, for Malaysia punya future adalah kita sekarang berharap dekat kepada Gen Z. So maksudnya kalau diorang nak that kind of kerja work-life
Malaysia lah,
balance,
satu dunia lah.
satu dunia lah.
Gen X akan mati lah. We probably have another 40 years to go only.
So maksudnya syarikat tu kena ikut dia punya lentok Gen Z jugalah, betul tak? Dia tak boleh keras. Kalau tidak satu orang tak nak kerja dengan dia.
Ikut lentok which generation. I think kena ikut whatever the business is requiring. What is the economy is requiring. Sebab the business is always evolving, right? Economies is also evolving. So we have to evolve lah the same. So the generations are also trying to adjust to what is new, right? Like right now it's about the AI fatigue. Semua orang cerita pasal AI. Just hari ini before I come here, I tengah gaduh dengan klien pasal AI. Semua pun AI sekarang. It came to a point I rasa budak-budak sekarang they don't know how to think on their feet anymore, you know. Ada apa terjadi kan, dia akan like stone for a while. Sebab tak pergi check GPT lagi. Cannot.
Tak boleh buat decision.
Not to say cannot do decision. They too reliant on technology. Like you cannot function. Can you function without Wi-Fi for one day?
Can.
Do your work, you know. Can you do your work without Wi-Fi? I can honestly tell you I cannot lah. Like in my office kan, kalau internet down that's it lah. I suruh orang semua balik rumah dah. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do? There's nothing we cannot connect to the system. We only have the phone lah. Then you're gonna tell me where I'm gonna call, where to get the number to call. I cannot access the system to look at the resume. Then what you gonna do? Nothing you can do, okay? Boleh lah, pergi pantry tolong lap almari can lah.
Pernah happen tak?
Kalau kerja yang tak perlukan internet boleh lah kan?
But yeah lah, that's why sometimes there was one time, you know, I mean office tidak ada electricity. So what we did, we just go and bongkar semua file and do filing lah. Itu pun benda-benda lama dah kita buat e-filing for so long kan. We don't even have physical files anymore. We just go kemas office je lah.
Betul. Tetap ada kerja. Tetap ada kerja kan?
Ada kerja, but it will come. You get what I mean? It can be so reliant to it. We stop using our brain.
Betul.
I realized this because one day, there was one time, you know, my chat GPT was down. Then macam tiba-tiba tidak ada idea. Sebab I use ChatGPT for so long to generate ideas, to help me to write articles, to help me to write script. Then one day when it's not functioning, I also stop functioning.
Sebab terlalu bergantung lah.
So right now, I'm trying to adjust back to how the old school day is. Kita pakai otak kita dulu. Use our brain, then we use AI as an assistant. Rather we get them to control the whole work first.
Betul. Tadi sebelum kita datang guys, saya nak tunjuk lah dia yang dapat satu kad cantik daripada Aunty Aisyah. So siapa nak, you guys boleh contact
macam
Aunty
ni
Aisyah.
lah, you pakai AI lagi akan jadi bodoh nanti.
Okay, I want to ask you.
Ask lah.
Kenapa you put this tagline?
Dilarang
Dilarang.
bodoh.
Nanti kena sensor ni. Kenapa dilarang ni?
Bodoh is not a sensitive word.
Okay lah, dilarang bodoh
It's in
kan.
the dictionary.
Okay, kenapa?
What is the opposite of pandai?
Bodoh.
Yalah, it's a legit word. What? So, what is the polite word to bodoh?
Kurang
Tidak
bijak
pandai.
ke?
No, one
Tidak
word.
pandai.
Nah,
Polite word
don't have. It is stupid. It's stupid lah kan.
Ya.
English ada banyak sikit. We can say dumb.
Ya.
Lembab. Moronic. Pak Melayu I tak tahulah.
Lembab.
Lembab lain. Lembab bukan
Lembab is
bodoh.
slow.
Slow.
Betul.
Bodoh. Bodoh tu orang dah faham apa benda tu kan.
Kat Melayu lain perkataan. Bodoh is what?
So straightforward je.
So waktu aunty letak ni tak kena kecam ke?
Banyak. Of course banyak. But you see, you terasa kenapa? The Dilarang Bodoh campaign is a self-awareness campaign. Dia mengingatkan kita jangan jadi bodoh. Dalam hidup you kan? Can you think back your punya hidup you? Pernah ke buat kesilapan?
Benar.
Ada kesilapan yang bodoh tak?
Ada?
Mesti ada. Kalau you tidak ada kan, maksudnya kamu ya seorang yang tak hidup lagi. For someone who has lived, must have done some stupid mistakes in their life before.
Betul.
But what is more stupid, lagi bodoh, kalau you ulangkan kebodohan you.
Betul.
Jadi kita have a campaign lah to remind ourselves, jangan ikut bodoh bersama. Macam tu lah.
Bodoh bersama.
Dia bukan nak kecam sesiapa pun. Tapi sometimes kan, I fikirkan, you terasa kenapa? Ini ingatkan I je. Kalau I simpan stiker I kat situ, itu to bagi I reminder jangan jadi bodoh. Tapi you nampak, you terasa kenapa? I bukan cakap you bodoh.
So selalunya kalau terasa dia makan cili dia yang terasa.
Dia rasa
you ada
pedas lah.
pepatah tu kan, siapa yang makan cili akan rasa pedas kan? Macam tu lah.
Dia yang rasa lah. Wah. Apa tu anti seorang yang ni berani tak kisah cakap.
I kisah lah. Siapa I tak kisah. Kalau I betul berani, I sudah jadi politician dah.
Boleh ke arah situ.
Ya, boleh ke arah ke situ nampaknya.
Sebab whatever I bagi tahu ialah based on fakta. Dia bukan something I pluck down from the sky or whatever. Not that I'm saying politician pluck anything from the sky. Okay? But I cakap pasal akta kerja, which ada akta dia. I menjelaskan apa maksud akta. Sebab dalam akta, perkataan-perkataannya, dia punya ayat-ayat semua, sometimes so deep kan, orang cannot understand what he's talking about. So I just translate in terms that everybody can understand lah.
Ada contoh tak? Certain ayat yang ramai orang tak berapa
langsung
faham.
orang tak faham kan. Dia ada
Langsung
meaning
punya
sendiri.
tidak ada lah.
Banyak
Then you talk about it's confusing adalah macam contohnya dia ada satu ayat ni. If you are not hospitalized, but the doctor deem you are ill enough to be hospitalized. You ill enough, you sakit sampai kena hospitalized, but not hospitalized is considered as hospitalized. Confused tak? Pening.
Itu memang ayat official lah. Selalunya company
it's in the
buat lah.
Employment Act itself. If you are ill enough to be hospitalized and yet not hospitalized for whatever reason, then it's deemed as hospitalization leave.
Understand.
So orang macam like pening lah. Apa maksud ayat ni? Dia tak masuk hospital, tapi dia cuti hospital. Maksudnya dia sakit hospitalization. Macam mana?
So dia boleh ambil, dia boleh claim. Itu
You can. Okay,
Tapi dia dekat rumah.
the logic is when you are we give an example lah, easy. Let's say touch wood, you cut your finger. Jari terpatah. Okay? Then you go to hospital. Then most likely you go to emergency. Kan? So normally if you broke your finger, they can just maybe put you in a cast or whatever, but you don't have to stay in the hospital bed.
Okay.
But at the same time, they will also give you painkillers that make you woozy. So they said that if I have a hospital bed, of course lebih baik you tinggal kat hospital, then ada nurse nak jaga you, okay? But the hospital bed, kita kena bagi orang yang lebih memerlukannya. For us, you can treat your home as the hospital. You can continue to heal kat rumah. That is why even they don't stay in the hospital, it is still considered as hospitalization leave.
Jelas.
Itu cerita dia macam tu. And then there's many case law that says the same.
Sebab tu ada anti HR untuk explainkan
to
benda-benda
explain
detail.
Tapi ramai
Betul.
HR tak tahu tau. Itu yang saya terkejut. Macam mana korang boleh jadi HR bila benda-benda so basic pun tak faham?
So kalau nak jadi HR pun kena belajar
belajar
In
undang.
Malaysia
undang-undang
nak
apa
jadi
semua.
HR is not regulated. You tak perlu ada sijil. Macam I pun tak ada sijil HR pun. Memang bukan macam lawyer you kena pass the bar, or you nak jadi doktor mesti ada MBBS. Ini tidak ada. Nak accountant you must have all this MIA kan. Sesiapa pun boleh jadi HR.
So I pun boleh lah.
Anybody.
Apa kriteria untuk jadi?
He can. The cameraman also can. Anybody also can. But whether you're going to be an effective HR is a different story
Alright.
altogether.
So what's the criteria yang menyatakan itu effective or not? What's the make you different, me and you?
that I know Employment Act. I am familiar with employment law.
Okay.
If you are in IR, you have to be familiar with industrial relations law.
Oh.
But if you are in payroll, then of course you need to know what are the statutory contribution, how you calculate payroll. You know, there are a lot of pillars in HR. So whatever function you are assigned to do, you have to be knowledgeable lah and know what you do. Like in most small SME, they will have a HR generalist. Satu HR je tapi dia tapau semua. Kalau you pergi tempat macam yang sangat besar, company yang sangat besar like the Petronas lah, the Telecom lah, the Shell lah, their team of HR is very huge.
Kena sampai ramai banyak orang sebab
they have one team that does recruitment, one team that does com and band, one team that does IR. Okay, everybody has their own specialization. But in Malaysia, most of the business are made up of SME. And in SME, most of them, they just have a small team lah. Very often you will see only one person tap out everything. So when they tap out everything, of course, when you are jack of all trades, you might not be master of none. But so there are certain basics you need to know. Like Employment Act is one of the things that is super basic. Every HR should know.
Okay. Sorry. I begitu. Okay. I tadi pasal Aunty cakap you tahu pasal Employment Act. I nak tanya satu soalan. Let's say macam ada satu company, dia macam dia tawarkan kontrak contoh 3 tahun, 5 tahun. Benda tu legal ke tak legal?
Legal lah. It's called fixed term contract.
Tapi dia bagi basic EPF tu okay lah, tak ada masalah.
In Employment Act, they don't differentiate whether you are contract tetap or permanent ke apa, dia tak ada beza punya. As long as you are hired as contract of service. So your 3 years, 5 years is what we refer to as fixed term contract. Meaning, when you start kerja, we already pre-agreed ada start date, ada end date.
Okay.
You are hired for this period only.
And boleh tak company tu tie orang tu? Maksudnya dia
Bond lah.
Ikat.
bond.
Kan? But you have to
3 years
justify
macam
lah.
tu. Oh,
You can.
boleh.
And it's very common, they will put a penalty in it. If you don't complete your bond period, then there is a penalty. But in order to charge the penalty, employer cannot justify why. You cannot bond somebody for no reason. That one is cannot.
Oh, kena justify.
Of course, you need to justify lah.
Sebab takut dia lari kan lepas kita dah mengajar dia.
But this is the thing
dia lari kan. Penat-penat
why
kita
you
dah
takut
mengajar.
orang lari?
Dah penat kan?
Why you want to bond someone? You begitu tak ada confident you can make an employee stay with you Are you fit to run business and hire in the first
Betul.
place is my question. But if you talk about like if I invest in you,
Okay.
then lepas tu after I put the investment in you, then you cabut lari.
Okay.
Then I think my investment tak balik lagi. That one, I think that one is still reasonable. Like I hantar you pergi training, then I bond you 3 to 6 months. At least let the investment come back first, then I release you. That also makes sense.
So as long as company tu ada invest
As
dekat
long
orang
as it's
tu lah.
logic, the
Yeah.
bond. I have here people bond people for 6 years for 600,000. I was like, what kind of bond is that? What did the company do with you until you worth 600,000? Kan it's question mark for me.
Betul.
Ya.
Boleh share sikit apa
Must be
yang dia
some
buat?
high fly MBA course or something.
600,000
Yeah, they bond on.
Apa ya?
Okay, lepas tu I pun nak carut orang tu juga. Yang korang tu baca kontrak tu lepas you sign, tak question. Siapa yang bodoh sekarang? You
tengok.
already know that is the term that
Sebab
you
tu
sign,
lah.
right?
Tengok ni, baca. Tengok tu, baca tu.
I think both parties also has to be accountable.
Sebab once dah sign dah tak boleh ni kan, dah tak boleh.
Not to say tak boleh, but I always tell people your signature has to mean something. Benda yang you kata kena tunaikan janji mah. You kena menepati janji kan. Moreover, you tanda tangan tau. You agree in writing. So I ask, is that your signature? Means nothing. That is why just now they also get me to sign an NDA or You saw me, I read. And I read every line. Words that I don't understand, I clarify. Cause my signature needs to mean something. But nowadays, I know a lot of boss kan memang tak baca document kan. Main sign.
Bahaya tu nanti
Bahaya tu.
Yes, suruh sign.
If that one is bahaya. That one I will agree is bahaya. If you sign a document blindly, it's dangerous because you don't know what you are agreeing to.
So antara banyak-banyak orang tanya soalan dekat anti HR kan. Apa soalan yang paling buat anti HR rasa macam mana? Dia tinggalkan satu perasaan yang mendalam. Like
Simple question. Betul. I remember kan, the first year I came out to do all these videos on TikTok about HR. I read the comments. I used to be able to have the time to read every single comment. So I read all the comments. So I remember reading this comment about, Auntie, kita punya annual leave kan, we prorate from the day we are confirmed or prorate from the day we start work. I terkejut tau bila I nampak soalan ni. So at that time, I was thinking, maybe this is an outlier. Orang ni betul-betul tak tahu. Maybe nobody ever teach him kan. But over time, I see the same question repeating over and over
Orang
and
yang
over
berbeza.
again. Or
Orang
different
berbeza.
people.
Oh.
Different people will ask me the same question. So I memang initially I terkejut tau. Benda yang begitu simple, how come you guys don't know? I was so shocked how uneducated the public is about their employees' right. And later when I hang out with the SMEs, I am also very shocked how uneducated they are with their own employers' right. Dan ini semua hak you tahu, tapi you tak tahu. So I terkejut lah. So sometimes the simplest question will shock me, you know. But I sudah buat ni macam 3 tahun dah. I sudah macam like immune to it dah.
Layan je lah.
Yeah. Like for example, setiap kali ada cuti umum mesti ada banyak message punya. Kalau Johor menang football kan, confirm ada message punya.
Okay.
Macam mana auntie, company tak bagi cuti kan, Johor menang football macam mana? So I also got to adapt to the pattern lah. So we know now, jadi now my content is more targeted. So I will see what are the common question orang tanya, then I will do the content accordingly lah to educate.
So waktu auntie buat TikTok, social media ni memang you akan pro kepada pekerja ke majikan?
I kat tengah-tengah. It's true. I'm always in the middle.
Middle
yang mana yang betul?
I have been in corporate for 20 years. Out of 20 years, 18 years I'm a manager. So for 18 tahun I am considered as a mini boss, part of management. But at the same time, I was also an employee makan gaji.
Faham.
So I am your typical middle manager. So there are times I have to act like an employer. There are many times I have to act like an employee. But I always say this, what is HR hired for? HR is to hire to regulate all these policies kan? Everybody has a job. Like accountants have to make sure everything that is financial is compliant to finance. Legal department have to make sure everything is compliant in legal kan? Ops is everything according to SOP. HR is to make sure everything is according to labor law and employment law. So we are there to look at the law. Laws are always, and in employment law, the laws are created to protect employee. So when you apply the law, you cannot beat them, you have to join them.
Okay.
Since the employment law is designed to cite the employee, so when you manage employment law that time, you ikut je lah side, then you will never go wrong. Because at the end, our goal is to make sure the majikan tak sampai court. We have to make sure the boss don't get into trouble.
So HR ni macam orang tengah antara pekerja dan juga
like a
majikan.
two-headed snake lah.
Pening kepala.
Two-headed snake.
It's
Yalah.
like two-headed snake. In front of the boss, you have to cite the boss. In front of the staff, you have to cite the staff. But at the end, in order to cite the boss, I have to cite the staff first. Because the law is designed that way.
Yeah. Correct. Faham.
Tapi ada orang cakap like HR ni banyak employee tak suka punya. Like all the departments.
I don't blame them.
Oh, maksudnya ramai staff tak suka
Like
HR punya department lah.
ada department lah
I didn't
maybe.
know sampai I keluarkan. I tak tahu kan HR memang tidak disukai.
Yeah.
Sebab kat I punya company HR I okay je. Kita tak ada beef dengan kita punya HR. Everything tenang je.
Everything tenang.
I kat luar I tak tahu begitu banyak ke HR. But when they tell me what the HR tell them which is not compliant to the law, when they tell me HR dia macam ni, I pun don't blame them for hating their HR. I will hate their HR too. It's just that throughout my career, I've been so lucky. I've been working with HR yang okay.
Ya, dia macam toxic kalau macam tempat-tempat lain dia tak suka HR sebab macam terlalu banyak sangat rules kot kan. Benda tu kan.
Not necessary about the rules. I think they just don't, most of them are not compliant.
Not compliance
Not
maksudnya.
compliant lah, like cuti. Like this coming, like just past recently the Vesak Day kan?
Okay.
So cuti ke tak cuti Vesak, itu pun ramai orang komplain. Bila I kerja pada cuti umum, I tak dapat gaji, I tak dapat replacement. Bila tanya HR kenapa, dia cakap bos kata macam tu. Macam mana you nak kerja dengan HR macam tu? Yang tidak ada tulang belakang dia? How like that?
Faham.
HR pun kena protect employee kan. Macam like
Dan juga kena protect bos jugalah.
Bukan pun kena, he's memang kena. You are hired to make sure there's a harmonious workforce. Your customers is actually your employees. Who are your customers? If you treat HR as a business, right? Who is your customer? The employees are your customer.
tu.
In business, do we take care of our customer? We do, right? That is business rule number 1. Customer is always king.
Yeah.
Macam tu lah.
Tapi untuk manage customer, kita kena ada team. Team tu adalah pekerja-pekerja tu lah kan.
Yeah, you manage customer, you have a customer relationship team, right? That is the engagement team lah in the HR.
And then dalam satu company kan dia ada sistem sendiri kan. But kadang-kala ada orang dia ada story dia sendiri. So memang akan kena ikut sistem saja atau sometimes boleh sebab certain orang
When you
punya
say
condition.
system apa? Dia punya
Macam
process.
Like,
Every
dia
company,
proses dia.
Everybody has their own process mah. As long as it's legal, okay lah, dia jalan lah.
So
Apa
kalau-
proses pun boleh jalan je as long as
Yeah.
it's compliant to the law.
Of Malaysia. Kalau dekat Malaysia lah.
If you have the business in Malaysia, it's Malaysia lah. Takkan business in Malaysia ikut undang-undang Amerika.
Mereka undang-undang China lah. Dilarang bodoh kan Nampak tu. Saya punya soalan tu betul-betul bodoh kadang-kadang. Dia macam James.
So anti HR ada hiring kan? Ada buat hiring kan?
Now? Now no.
Oh no more. Dulu ada.
Dulu I kerja agensi pekerjaan. That's why I know about recruitment. I started in HR as a recruiter.
Oh recruiter.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good. So during interview ada apa-apa red flag tak yang kita boleh nampak from the candidate?
Ya, ini saya nak dengar.
Red flag.
Staff.
When we ask for referral, you cannot give. That is the number one red flag.
Apa dah?
When we ask for referral, referee.
Okay.
Then you tak boleh bagi tahu I. Anybody can be your referee. That is the number one red flag. Why are you so afraid of me talking to anybody who knows you? Especially your ex-boss. But I understand. Semua orang ada orang yang dia bergaduh dengan ex-boss dia. Maybe it's not a good referral point. Then you treat her lah. But cannot be. There's no one person can testify your good work kan? If you cannot give me anyone, I question. Masalah is orang tu ke you? Betul tak?
Betul.
Like you pergi makan kat restoran, you nampak restoran baru buka, you never try kan? But restoran punya menu nampak mahal. If you ask 10 people also cannot give you an answer. This restaurant bagus ke tak? You rasa you akan pergi ke tak?
Dia macam review lah. Tapi untuk yang
It's actually
candidate
it's a
tu.
review. When
Yeah.
you do a reference check, it is a review. I'm technically talking to someone who has the experience talking to you kan. During interview We don't know each other.
Yeah.
How you can tell me about the moon, the sky, about everything, kan? I cannot trust you, tau. But there's a word, trust but verify. Who can I talk to that we will say something that is consistent to what you say? Then we know it's the truth. If you say you are a fast learner, does your boss agree you are a fast learner? Or you shock sendiri you fast learner? Because I don't want when I hire you that time, then I was like, you ini sebenarnya lembab. Cakap dia fast learner.
Tapi benda tu memang berlaku kan.
Benda tu tak ada jadi.
Because you guys never do your reference check.
Oh.
You percaya kata-kata dia je.
As a company itulah recruiter.
And then recently on internet, there is also something very viral. Like it's quite common nowadays. When you go for interview, they ask you to do a presentation of a business plan. Then last, they don't hire you, but they take your business plan, they copy it and execute it.
Wah.
You know why? Because your business plan is also copied from ChatGPT in the first place. So you don't pretend that it is like entirely is your idea. If your business plan is so good, it will be something very uniquely tied to your skills. So even they try to copy, they will not be able to execute it as good as you do it.
So they will need to hire that
It would
candidate.
be a tight business plan. But a lot of people nowadays, I pun rasa dilulu tau. You present them a business plan, they take your... How do you know they take your idea? Have you ever thought they already have the idea already in the first place? What are you presenting that is so unique that nobody can think of?
Betul.
But this kind of activity, bukan only now only starting. I remember many years ago, like 10 years ago, we also recruited somebody who is a very senior position. We also tell the person to present a business plan. But also because we are hiring a business manager, we want to see when you do a presentation in front of our client, what does the presentation look like? We want a demo of how you are when you are with the client. Okay? We are not so much about your ideas. We also want to think how you think. That's why we have Q&A bouncing back and forth. We want to evaluate you with practical work, like a demonstration like that. But for whoever who is asked to do this, then you don't feel comfortable with it, then decline the job offer. Right? Withdraw your application, macam tu je. But I also think if you present it, it's very good practice for you also. You take it as an opportunity. I think stealing your idea or whatever is secondary. I always teach them, if you want to make sure they don't steal your idea, you publish your idea first.
Betul. Itu paling senang kan.
Copyright.
You publish
Copyright.
dulu lah.
So how about someone yang dah sign letter offer, tapi dia the next day dia should join the company kan, tapi dia
Good
text
riddance lah
kata
kan.
dia tak boleh nak join.
Better kan? Rather he come in and MC 1 minggu,
Betul
lepas tu
juga.
you tak tahu macam mana nak lepaskan dia.
So just lepaskan je lah.
For me, just lepaskan lah. I also in recruitment I have been through
Macam
this
tu juga.
Yeah.
so many times.
Satu hari nak bekerja tak
So
datang.
many times,
Yeah.
so many times. For us, we are so immune to it. We just let it go and move on je.
Okay.
Tapi sakit hati penat buang masa semua orang kot.
Yeah, but you also have to evaluate lah kan. How did it happen in the first place? Is it because your orientation was not tight enough? Was it because your offer letter not fast enough? Sometimes it's not always you need to blame them for masalah. Is it because the offer that you gave them is not good enough? Not everything is the candidate's fault, I think everybody needs to admit some degree of fault. It's always the village punya masalah. Cannot be salah satu orang
Betul.
je.
Semua
Of course, dia sudah tunaikan janji. Dia sudah tanda tangan. Dia tak tunaikan janji dia. Dia memang salah. Tapi dia sudah cabut sebelum dia buat lagi banyak salah. It's also not a bad thing.
Daripada MC sakit-sakit kan.
Pemikiran yang sangat positif.
Bagus kan. Maksudnya dah ada pengalaman
just
lah.
move on.
Okay nanti, kalau let's say lah, tadi pasal interview session kan. contohlah graduan universiti baru lepas graduate, dia nak apply kerja. Tapi dia nak offer gaji yang tinggi, 5,000, 4,000 ke.
Itu hak dia kan?
Tak boleh lah.
Boleh, kenapa tak boleh? Dia nak minta 10,000 ke 5,000 ke, itu hak dia minta. Dia tak ada undang-undang cakap dia tak boleh minta.
Oh, bukan dia ada ni ke?
Tapi dia dapat ke tak, itu cerita lain.
Dream versus
Oh,
reality.
maksudnya faham. So maksudnya dia bukan undang-undang Malaysia kalau macam nak jadi accountant ni gaji. Bukan Dia bukan macam
market
we
price.
have something called a salary guide. But at the end, the value have to make sense. Like, contohnya, will it make sense for me to hire a receptionist for 5,000 ringgit? At hindsight, might not worth it. But you have to know, my receptionist also helped me to do licensing. She also double work as she also take care of the auntie. He also in charge of the facility. You know? So at the end, is it worth it or not? It's worth it. Why not? Like dulu, I remember, this is like so many years, like 20 years ago tau. 20 years ago, I have a client looking for a receptionist. It's a true story.
Okay.
Back then, they offered 3,000 ringgit. And the minimum wage back then was 1,500. So kira dia macam bagi 5,000 for a receptionist now lah. But the client has very stringent criteria. English has to be perfecto. Must know to do very good admin work. Have to be system savvy. Because they use this very high-tech kind of Unix board, don't know what, in their reception counter. You know, have to look pleasant. Sebab dia MNC. Translation kena kurus lah kan.
Macam model lah.
Dia nak cantik. So of course, you have to pay the price if you want so many things. So for graduates who say that I want to demand 5,000-7,000, go ahead and demand. The question is, are you bringing in the same value? Sometimes I always caution my follower, be careful with what you ask for. You minta gaji begitu tinggi, you rasa bos you tak perah you sampai the last cent.
Betul.
You guys think about it.
Yeah. Semakin tinggi gaji pun semakin
Mine
banyak
is very high. You will
tanggungjawab.
come with the expectations.
Yes.
This is very common one lah.
Bos perah sampai tak
Sampai
ada air.
last titik of peluh.
Yeah, it's quite
Sudah
common.
kering.
Boss will perah you.
Ya.
It's
Tapi kalau
very
dapat bos yang tak
common.
perah, happy lah.
Jarang. Very
Enjoy
rare.
kaki kan. Gaji 10,000 kan. Wah,
How
sangat syok lah.
relaxed it is.
Hmm.
I think if you want to have a good career, right, you must have the right amount of stress. Kalau you langsung tidak ada stress, then you akan bosan. Terlalu stress, you jadi gila. So you still need the quantity of stress yang betul to keep you excited
Ya.
and happy at work.
Saya dah mental ke belum? Stress tak?
Betul.
Semua begitu senang kan?
Yalah, orang semua nak yang senang.
You will
Tapi
be bosan lah.
I pernah ada tanya, hari tu pernah ada jumpa seseorang ni lah. Dia cakap, dia berhenti kerja. Gaji okey tau. Gaji dia okey. Dia kenapa berhenti kerja? Sebab dia bosan.
Bosan lah.
Sebab dia buat benda tu, sebab bagi dia kan, dia ambil gaji tu macam tak berbaloi dengan apa yang dia buat.
I don't think it's not tak berbaloi. Memang dia macam hidup dia tak bermakna dah lah. I want to do something
ada juga
else.
stress Kena pressure sikit baru enjoy what you are doing kan.
I think to create some
Macam
excitement
anti
lah.
HR lah.
Yeah.
Excitement.
Some
Ah.
excitement. So something excited you look forward to kan.
Dia pada zaman sekarang kan sekarang ekonomi pun macam nak kata baik sangat pun tak ada. Anti HR rasa nak berjaya tu kerja dengan orang atau peniaga lebih baik.
I think both also okay depending what is your risk appetite. Kalau you nak buat business you sendiri, number one, your business development skills must be very on. Your networking skill has to be very on. You want to be an entrepreneur, you memang kena keluar pergi jumpa orang. You cannot tell me I'm introvert, I don't want to network, I don't like to kipas orang, then this job is not for you. Then go, you just do kerja je. If you're someone who cannot perform under pressure, than be an employee. Because as an entrepreneur, your pressure is never stop.
Never stop.
Especially if you have employees. You tak nak makan, pekerja you kena makan,
Betul.
okay? You have to make sure you make payroll every month.
Yeah.
Regardless what is your business doing, regardless what is happening with the economy. You sudah janji orang setiap bulan you bayar gaji on time. That is the responsibility that you have signed up for. If you're not up for it, then jadi pekerja je.
Yeah. So true, so true.
Sama ada you nak memerah orang atau you diperah.
Actually, memerah orang is also not an easy job, you know.
Kan?
You akan rasa like, was I too much? Like, I rasa sometimes I perah orang kan, I rasa di gaslight balik, okay?
Contoh contoh.
Like, I sudah maki orang kan, then I
Oh.
feel like guilty. Should I not be so harsh? But dia memang buat salah. I don't know. Like I don't know. Maybe I blame it on my premenopause. I like gets angry with so many things so fast. I'm like, how can this happen? Macam mana benda macam ni boleh jadi so last minute?
Is it sebab sudah 20 tahun buat the same thing?
No, I think I see how the workforce is evolving. I think right now we are coddling too much. I think if somebody buat salah, it's tak salah marah dia.
Oh.
Adakah dia salah kalau dikenakan marah bila you buat salah? In the young generation now, is cannot auntie, tak boleh. You tak boleh marah-marah orang, itu zaman dulu-dulu. I say zaman dulu-dulu is pukul, okay? I rasa marah still okay. Jangan sikit-sikit tak boleh tahan. You buat salah, you dimaki, please tahan. And then most of the time bila boss maki you that is bukan kesalahan pertama dah. Entah tak tahu berapa kali dah.
Benda yang berulang-ulang.
Ya, orang sudah bagi tahu you 1 kali, 2 kali, sudah soft talk banyak kali. Berapa kali lagi I kena soft talk dengan you? Kena hard talk 1 kali kasi bantai.
So,
Ada tak bos yang suka marah-marah?
Of course they are. Of course ada like me lah, one
Oh,
of them.
mengaku dia memang suka marah.
I tak suka. Actually I tak suka marah. Tapi I jenis panas baran. And I'm very impatient. I'm learning to be more patient. Sekarang I try to take a moment to pause. I cubalah. Bukan I tak cuba, I cuba juga. It's not good to marah. It's not good for my BP. I ada high BP tau.
Wow. Maybe sebabkan you handle perangai manusia kan. Memang tak boleh geram lah kadang-kadang kan. Geram tengok perangai dia
I
macam
think
tu.
more like geram. Sometimes I feel sakit hati tau. I say you guys have so much talent. Why do you have to stoop down to this level? You have so much energy and so much talent to make greater things for yourself. Why are you still harboring over this issue over and over again? I want greater things for you. I want you to be more proactive than reactive. I want you to be able to reach the moon and the sky. Not keep harboring at the same issue pasal my boss, my colleague. Like macam tak boleh move on like that.
I rasa this thing happen maybe macam kalau orang Melayu
I
kan.
don't know your boss toxic ke you create that toxicity is inside you.
So if cannot let go maksudnya
Because you guys staying was
Yeah,
also
yeah,
your
yeah.
choice, you know. I always question.
Betul.
Kalau begitu tak suka boss you, why stay? Leave lah.
Hmm.
You choose to stay kan? Dia macam like you addicted to the toxicity like that. Don't come and tell me, auntie, I tried to look for job, I cannot find. Did you try hard enough? What did you do to find a job? I can see every day you just wallowing in your anger only. Kan?
Maksudnya benci tu belum sampai limit tu. Belum maksimum lagi. So dia still boleh tahan kat sana. Everyday pergi yalah toxic.
I rasa semua kalau kat Malaysia ni semua staff memang tak suka apa yang dia buat lah. Tapi dia kena kerja juga.
I think everybody is the same lah.
Kan?
Like in Malaysia, I don't think same Malaysia lah. Everywhere,
Yeah.
I look at the internet kan, in America ka, in Poland ka, in Arab ka, everywhere is the same one lah ya. In Saudi, Japan, netizen Selalu je lah ada benda yang dia tak suka punya.
Betul.
Which is fine. Let them be lah. Itu outlet dia, bagi dia je lah. You just don't campur aduk kat situ. There are different people have different way to releasekan dia punya whatever they have terpendam kat dalam. So we just respect their way of whatever way they choose.
Tapi diorang cakap boleh buat 4 hari kerja, 3 hari cuti.
Itu apa? Daripada yang baru punya.
Like no lah, like
If you can finish your job on time, then go ahead lah.
like
What is stopping you?
yeah.
Capai target okey lah kan, tak ada masalah lah.
Yeah, you can finish your work. Like in our previous company, we are very target oriented. For us, it's very simple. If you can hit your target in the middle of the month, you nak cuti for the rest of the month, I pun tak ada masalah.
Oh.
Wow.
Because we just measure you on, we have very clear SMART goals. Everything that we do, we have very clear goals. As long as you reach your goals, then it's okay. We are very flexible with that. But there are a lot of jobs that is time sensitive, like bus driver. Right? You are required to be physically present there. So if I give you 4 days, 3 days off, which means your 4 days are going to be longer hours. Because it would not make sense for me to incur another cost to hire another headcount of a driver to come in to perform the same job that you can. Because at the end, all of us are hired to be profitable. Boss do not start business to make a loss.
Betul.
Let them ponder first.
Betul. How about bos yang cakap, hey, you ini satu family lah, is a family company.
You know, this is something very sad, I feel. Many years ago, when I first entered the workforce, like we're talking about 20 years ago. And then I remember whenever we do the exit interviews, we always ask the question about what will you miss about in a company. And in a lot of our exit interviews, they will say something like, I miss how close we are as a family in the company. It used to be a cool thing, you know, but now it's super cringe. Why? Why did it go from there to here? And like the other day, I was also talking to Matno. You guys know Matno?
Kena.
And we were talking about this subject, and what he said is true, you know. Like when we were working, like during our X generation, who is your pengasuh kan? We also know. Who is your nanny? Who is your kakak at home? What
All
does
the
your sister
family
do?
punya
We
ni lah.
really know that. Because we genuinely love working with each other.
Okay.
But nowadays, people are so individualistic. People just like to be on their own, have their own space. You know, you don't invade my privacy.
Yeah.
Macam
You know,
neighbor
the
lah.
things is evolving. So when they say things like we are family, they feel super cringe. And then they will start saying that, if you are family, kenapa when you go snowboarding in Japan, you never bring me?
Sebab katanya family punya syarikat kan.
I think when boss say we are family,
Okay.
I don't think they literally mean you are blood. And then what is so good about family? You tak ada black sheep in the family. Sometimes I feel my colleagues are closer than me to my family, okay?
Betul.
I know people in my family that I don't want to be related to them in the first place. So it's but I think people are just, but sometimes I feel when the boss, ini pun masalah boss lah. How boss use the word, also I need to question, why did the word family come out? They say that you can trust me. I am like your family. I was like, do you know my family? I don't trust my family.
So maksudnya there's no such thing as a family. It's a business.
Not to say that. I will disagree to that. I think you can always form friendship. But you need to know who it is. You also need to know your audience. Even you have a BFF, there is also stories about betrayal all the time. My best friend slept with my ex-husband. You know, that kind of thing. How can she do that? You know, they are always very complex, a complex web of network of relationship in your life. And in the workplace, it's no different. It's sama je.
Saya pun disagree lah.
Macam mana?
Sebab saya rasa ada bos yang baik.
Ada banyak. Ada bos yang jahat
Ya.
juga pun banyak.
Yeah.
That you will never find a perfect employee. You will never find a perfect employer. It's just a matter, are you perfect for each other or not? Everybody needs to compromise. And when you compromise, nobody is truly happy one. Of course, win-win is the best lah. But we don't get to win-win all the time. So we have to see lah, kita boleh tolerate ke tak.
Betul, antara satu sama lain kan.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, nak grow kan together, both side lah grow betul.
That is ideally speaking lah, kan. But ada punya, your relationship with your boss is so important. I cannot imagine how people can work with that boss that they don't trust. I have worked with bosses like that before, never last long. Because I find it very difficult to work with people I don't trust. I don't want to micromanage you and check on you all the time. I want to be able to have a relationship where we can trust each other. When you tell me something, it will be executed and seen through. When I tell you something, you must be able to trust me that I will do it. But of course, to reach that level of trust, it will take time. And a lot of mistakes. And a lot of conflicts.
Betul. Yeah.
Aunty Aisyah tadi kata dah bekerja lebih daripada 20 tahun kan?
Yeah.
So you ada boss betul tak?
Banyak.
Okay. Pernah tak dalam satu situation you macam, kan orang sekarang kan staff-staff dia suka cakap belakang pasal boss.
Of course.
Biasalah you pun buat lah.
Everybody also talk behind everybody one lah.
Cakap belakang lah.
You don't tell me you don't. Everybody
Saya tak, saya seorang yang baik.
Gila baik. Okay. Everybody will do that. But whatever is in the dark will come to light lah. You berani cakap belakang orang akan tahu punya mah eventually. So what you gonna do when there's retaliation? Like this whistleblowing thing kan? You nak pergi whistleblow. You rasa, of course, they will say your identity will be protected. But I've been in this business so long, no matter how tight they want to protect your identity, sooner or later, they will find out. Even witness protection program pun, you pernah tengok all this drama kat TV kan? The mafia pun eventually managed to find them and kill them.
Betul.
Right? What are you talking about? Your 6:30 whistleblowing policy.
Ayuh.
But it's just that you guys always need to be prepared. You want to whistleblow, you whistleblow with your eyes open. For me, you try to bagi tahu orang tu dulu. You rasa betul no choice, then only you whistleblow. I am never an advocate about cucuk belakang. I always believe snitches will get stitches. Pernah I cucuk belakang orang? So many times. Did I get retaliated? So many times. Did it backfired? So many times. That's why I'm telling you all, don't do it. It will do you nothing, okay? Nothing.
How about those company that they have those anonymous email?
Yeah, the whistleblowing
things?
policy lah.
So same, they will know who.
Like I told you, right? Something as tight as witness protection program by the CIA lah. I don't know what government secret agent also cannot do it.
Betul.
There will be no 100% guarantee you will safe, okay? Never.
So just don't start. Jangan buat.
I say not to say not start. I'm not discouraging everybody to do it. When you decide to do it, please plan ahead. What is your plan B? Because you know it will backfire. Be prepared for the worst. What is your plan B? Don't just go blindly go whistleblow and expect that you will be protected fully. You will not be.
Hari tu ayah dia baru je balik daripada China. Pergilah tengok satu company tu. Diorang punya polisi kat China, dia tak boleh berpasangan antara pekerja tau.
Okay lah.
Bercinta
tak boleh.
Dia ada polisi tu kan?
I don't know, ada tak dekat China lah. Kat Malaysia ada ke macam tu? Boleh buat macam tu?
I think it's specific to a company. It's not a labor law kind of thing. It's a company policy. You can establish policy like that. You can.
So maksudnya kalau kita
We call it a romantic relationship at the workplace policy.
so kalau macam staff tu dia langgar undang-undang tu, then apa company
Have to
boleh buat?
see what is your policy lah. In my previous company, I pun ada policy macam ni. But we don't stop you from falling in love. But we need you to come in HR to declare it. Because at the end, anything happen, I don't want some sexual harassment claims come forward. You guys have a consensual relationship. Be responsible with the relationship.
Kena declare.
No, that is our policy.
Policy
It's
company buat.
depending.
Dia bukan
It's
government.
not a law.
Oh,
Alah, husband and wife pun boleh kerja.
betul.
So normal lah. Bos akan hire dia punya sister lah, my cousin lah. Itu bukan lagi teruk. That's why really family. Everybody is a family. Family business.
Sampai nenek-nenek pun kerja jadi
There
reception.
is no law that prohibits that. But company policy can discourage it.
Oh, so kalau macam contoh, okay, dia buat polisi tu, lepas tu dia langgar polisi tu, kalau company bagi warning later, tak ada.
It's already written in the policy kan?
So tak ada masalah lah.
We already tell you upfront kan? If you guys have a relationship but you don't declare, if we have evidence, then we can take disciplinary action.
Faham.
So don't pretend like terkejut. Kenapa? Kita sudah bagi tahu. You jangan pura-pura tak tahu.
Betul.
Ya.
Ramai yang bila dah terkantoi, alamak. Kan? Aduh. Okay, nanti you dalam bidang tadi you cakap 20 years and you dah interview macam-macam orang perangai.
Yes.
What is the worst ataupun sampai sekarang you ingat lah paling macam Muhammad ni ke ataupun kawan ni ke waktu interview tu?
Maybe I can share something recently happened. I have not do recruitment for a very long time, So recently I'm helping a friend to do recruitment where I call up candidates. I think so long I tak call up people to do interview. I pun sudah karat tau. So one of the person, I think I said the wrong thing at the wrong tone. He felt very offended.
Oh.
Then I have to ampun send an apology email all. Because sometimes how I say things is easily misunderstood.
Oh.
Kan, so mulut I celupa kan. So I think I've forgotten that I have to be less celupa than I normally am.
During the conversation.
That was something recently happened lah. But you talk about, have I sit through an interview so bad that I can remember it for life? Itu tak ada lah.
Tak ada lah.
No. So far everything is okay lah. Don't have.
Ni kalau Adi HR boleh katakan lah, kita imaginasi sikit. If you get to tukar satu undang-undang, labor law dekat Malaysia, apa yang Andi
recently
HR
I've
akan
been
tukar?
talking about this. I think there is one leave that the government should really think about, compassionate leave.
Oh,
Sekarang tidak ada.
Tak
If
ada,
anybody of your family member pass away, you kena ambil annual leave. There is no special leave, bereavement leave.
Ni kena tambah lah.
I think it
Should
should be
have.
added. We have congratulatory leave like newborn, like paternity leave. We don't have congratulatory leave. Even marriage leave semua tu tidak ada. But I think it would be good if we can introduce compassionate leave. Because I have followers so sad, like they just joined a company, they have not earned their annual leave yet. Then a member of their family member passed away. Then on top, have to deal with the death, have to deal with unpaid leave, tak ada gaji pula. So it's like stress tambah stress.
So harap orang government tengoklah video ni kan. Tengok, boleh contact Aunty Aisyah.
Compassionate leave lah.
tolong
I think
Jangan.
I think it can be introduced.
Ya, good point. Dan saya rasa maybe kita boleh tambah satu lagi kot. Naikkan basic 1,007.
Actually,
What
the
do you think?
government is talking about
Nak naikkan lah?
minimum wage right now. Actually, it will happen. If you look in the past history of the past 20 years, actually they introduced new, if I'm not mistaken, back in year 2005 or 2006 macam tu. The first minimum wage was RM900. And then you will notice every 3-4 years they will keep naik. So it's nothing new. So this 1,700 was I think last year, it was effective last year. So you count this is the second year already. Another 1-2 years they will
Akan naik,
increase.
Naik
Yeah,
lagi lah.
it's not something new. But then again, all the businesses are also pura-pura it's new.
Businesses owner.
Sakit dia kata.
I think there's a lot of things to it. Like, of course, inflation is one.
Yeah.
That is true.
Hmm.
Like even now, to beli property is so expensive, you know.
Crazy. Mahal loh.
That's why people don't own houses anymore. Now you talk to any youngster, they say if you rent, cannot afford to buy.
Ambil loan
Pun
35
takut,
years. Takut 35 years kan.
35 tahun.
My house loan also 35 years.
Seram. Wah, okay nanti ada tak kata-kata kepada follower-follower, peminat-peminat anti HR?
I think it's very important you guys know your own rights. Know your employees' right. Business owners know your employers' right. But always stay compliant to the law. Ingat we are not the government. We cannot make up our own laws.
Okay.
So whatever it is, just be good and stay compliant.
Banyak yang kita belajar hari ni.
Banyak kita belajar. Hari ni I banyak belajar. Walaupun kadang-kadang jadi bodoh sikit lah kan. Sebab tu saya dekat ni.
Yes, that's right.
Okay guys, Alhamdulillah kita dah sampai di hujung episod untuk kali ni bersama dengan Anti HR.
Yeah.
So jangan lupa untuk follow Anti HR di semua platform social media, TikTok, Instagram, apa lagi? YouTube ada? Wah, YouTube pun ada
Ada at professional_bimbo, but it's very hard. YouTube is super hard.
Tapi
It's
paling
sangat susah. Long form is memang susah.
TikTok lah.
Main is Instagram.
Oh,
You DM
Facebook
me
ada
on
Facebook.
Instagram. Facebook ada?
Okay.
Saya pun
Ada.
selalu tengok dekat Instagram.
Instagram.
Peminat number one.
I'm focusing a lot on Instagram right now.
Wow, okay. So jangan lupa untuk follow Anti HR. Kalau ada apa-apa persoalan tentang bekerja ke, soal pasal law ke dan sebagainya, boleh hubungi Anti HR.
Tak akhir sekali ingat.
Dah guys, macam biasa tagline hari ni.
Dilarang bodoh.
Dilarang bodoh. Okay guys, see you guys soon. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum.